My name is Marco Orlandi. I'm from Italy, and I work in Grandi Stazione Retail. I'm in charge of the operation and product innovation. We are a brand new company because we were state-owned until 2.5 years ago, and then we went private. So the first thing that I'd like to share with you is a video representing how the company is and what is the vision of our company. Okay, so we are running only 14 stations that are 14 national monuments. And we are quite original because we are managing not only the advertising business, but also the retail business. That makes us a great laboratory to test all the synergies that can be explored between screens and store, because we are managing both. We are managing both. In terms of out-of-home networks, these are our main networks. We have also what we call iconic digital domination. One is this one. It's a new transparent screen that we have in Roma Termini. And we have three different networks. One is TV-like network. Then we have a network of big billboards and a network of interactive kiosks. So we have a lot of audience, more or less 2 million people per day. The first thing that you need to do when we want to sell your audience is to count your audience. So we started 5 years ago in putting QVD cameras inside the screens. Why? That's because we have advertising, retail, and events on a unique business, our footfall, and we're focusing on data and on innovation. We are trying to drive the cultural changes inside of the company and to capitalize the amount of data and people that are available. That's what we did. So we start to break silos to let the different business units inside the company to talk together. We decided to keep the strategic skill internally and to develop internally some specific skill. And we decided to build something like a startup internal to the company, hiring people from different backgrounds. More of them are business-oriented and non-IT-oriented. And we added a lot of data analysts in order to help our sales force to explain this new kind of world. We started in 2014 counting. At this moment, we have more or less 600 screens equipped by Quividi. We counted 2.5, more or less, billion of people, and these are some data about the dwell time and attention time to the screens. We are adding additional data sources. We reached agreement with the telcos, with credit card operator. We are analyzing also the sales from shops, and we built a big data lake in order to let all the data connect and try to give us the value of the data. What are the main goals that we are taking with this project? So we operate in 4 kinds of market. The first is the out-of-home market. So we are in the OTS domain, and we are using data to measure the viewers, the demographics in front of the screens, and to build smart reactive content and to do conditional programming. So all the flexibility that the digital out-of-home needs. This has contributed a lot in our improve in terms of out-of-home sales. But we are also on other markets, like more or less all the people shared today in this presentation. Using the CPM domain, so using data to measure in terms of CPM, we are able also to get money from online advertising. And we'll show you in a few minutes some results of this strategy. Then we are also in the TV market. That's because in Italy, for historical and political reasons, TV market is still half of the market of the advertising, and we need specific product, a specific language also for the TV. So we take our data and for the build of pre and post evaluation tool, TV oriented, and to measure the gross views, the net views. For the net views, has been very useful to start to work with telcos in order to have the unique visitor every day, every week, and every month inside the station. And we are, in this case, in the GRP domain. But we are managing also the venue and the shops. So in the footfall domain, we are using all the collected data also to measure the audience of the shops of the commercial area. And this is, let me say, quite original because we are not many companies that are managing both retail and advertising. So one short example of how data can present a venue. This is Roma Termini. This is the main gate for Roma Termini. There's a lot of people every day. We are presenting to our partner a typical week in which we are measuring the unique visitor, the footfall, so the number of visits, and the OTS developed by the screen. These are the average on the station for the Q1 2018. We are adding new data. These are from Quividi, age and gender, but using telcos, we are also able to get information about the country of origin of the people and the split between business and leisure users. And this is the hourly distribution inside the company. Combining this data, we are playing with some KPIs. And for example, we are able to measure and not estimate by researchers the dwell time in the venue, the number of visits per day. We have a lot of commuters that are 2 times per day in the venue, and the screen view per visit. One of the first jokes is that in the weekend, we have less people, but they spend more time inside the station, so we are measuring a different ratio between visits and screen view. So we are a well-measured venue. Now we want to become a smart venue. A smart venue, that means content connected to the people. And I have a few examples. This was during the political election campaign. This is the public debt, and updated in real time. And it's this hyper-local and dynamic content. It's interesting because the first quote is, since you started from Rome 3 years ago, the public debt grew by 150 million. So this is the message from Rome, from Milano, and getting the people that are arriving from Rome and connected to the timetable. So I know when a train is coming from Rome, and this is the message for these guys. Another example is to allow artists and singers to be connected by using the screen to their fan base, to share social posts and to directly moderate and choose what are the best tweets to go to the screens. In terms of impact of this social outdoor, I have another small example. So we hosted an event from the Paralympic Committee in Italy, and they were obviously on the online. This is an Instagram tweet, an Instagram post by Alex Zanardi and the National Ministry of Tourism, and all the people were also in the station. So we measured that the social reach of the post was 1.7 million on the major social networks, but the OTS developed by Quividi with the same campaign in the same 3 days was more than 6 million. That means that when you amplify using the venue your social content, you're able to reach a lot of people. Another thing that we are doing is to put location-based offers. So by replying the banners inside the mobile, inside the station with hyperlocal targeting, we are able to give our customer the possibility to be present on the screen and on the mobile phone, and for example to book an event, a ticket, or an offer that is available only in this moment and only in the station, which is interesting for us for the drive-to-store event. So our strategy has been started. Our strategy on the programmatic has been started 3 years ago. We start to build some model to selling audiences and define the architecture and start to cooperate 3 years ago with partners. Then we start to do some small amount of money last year with the real-time audience billing, thanks to an integration that we did with Quividi guys, and connect to existing trading desk to start to sell our premium inventory on the programmatic market. Now we are reaching our full potential. That means adding new data sources and describe better and better what's happening in the station. We built a new business intelligence platform around our data lake, and we are adopting additional SSP. We are adopting broadsign reach in order to be able to be contacted by as many as DSP as possible. So we had some problem because we discovered that the languages on the online and digital out of home were quite different. So we need to speak and understand different language. Need to explain technology and metrics to the customer. What are these cameras? What are the data coming from, and so on. And one of the problem was the price alignment versus the reservation model, because we changed the unit of measurement, but the space was still the same. So the action was to hire a data analyst and to push on competitor to adopt the programmatic solution and to allow easy multi-publisher campaign management by agencies. So if you reach an agreement with your competitor, the media agencies, in that case, we are talking not about kinetic, but for example, with X-axis, not with Posterscope, but with Amnet. So the programmatic guy, they need to plan and to extend their digital plan also to your digital out of home. So the results, we started in November 2016 with the real-time audience profiling billing. The marketing trick was no audience, no cost. If no people is in front of the camera, you don't pay for this impression. The inventory was made available on Adform DSP, and until 3 days ago, the number of campaigns is 112 from 29 advertisers and 12 buyers. That means that buyers are proposing to different customers our solution, and the advertisers are renewing their campaign. The average price on CPM was more or less 20 euro, and this is our revenues from the last year from the programmatic. This was entirely new money from our market. So this is no out-of-home money. This is digital web money. We have some campaign that have a name that is YouTube pre-roll Netflix. And it's running on our screens. In terms of contribution, on the enabled screen that are more or less 400, the 11% of the turnover is from programmatic. That means 5% of our overall digital out-of-home sales and 2.5% of our advertising sales. That means also that we are already reached the half and half in the digital out-of-home and traditional. Now, our next step will be the adoption of the broadcast reach in order to expand the offer also to big screens that are not yet equipped by QVD cameras, and to enhance the transparencies and to push on standard adoption. This is our target. Is very important, but we are comfortable to reach this. So just another second to give the floor to Quang. So it's working, and the money is brand new. Using IoT and big data, we are enabling a connection between screens, venues, and shops that are quite interesting. We are a good laboratory for this. But there's a lot of data. You need to understand the data. You need to have the good people, and you need to be committed to the data value. So obviously, we need to cooperate, all the stakeholders, internal, external, customer, and partners, to share vision and have common solutions. So about the common solution, I think that Quang will continue this speech describing you a new initiative, very interesting. So for going out of home. Okay.
Sounds good.
Thank you.
So you heard from Marco Orlandi on how Grandi Stazioni is actually extracting value using data and programmatic. I'll now take you more through the creative side of things and basically how you can actually extract more money with the creativity. First, being smart about messaging, and the second thing is really going for messaging having its own smart. First off, the first step of being smart is actually being measured and analyzing who your audience is. Once you understand who you're talking to, your messaging can become tactically smart by using targeting. This can be done actually at the booking level using data sets such as route or mobile, but it can also be at the local level using real-time data. We'll see it today, actually, a bit later, some examples of that. Third, what you can further enhance the smart of your advertising by adding actually programmatic interactive within your scenario. Of course, you can interact one-to-one, but we'll see that what works best is actually talking to a group of people or putting actually one person in the limelight and actually having the audience observe and enjoy. Hopefully this person will join as well. And actually, what can we do to make the art more intelligent? What if we put the intelligence in the ad itself? And this can be done using AI. So we're going to see a few examples of those. First thing, actually, measuring is actually key for two reasons. With the current accountability issues in digital out-of-home has a unique opportunity to be more accountable and actually steal budget from the web and online, as Marco just said. As we said, actually, at QVD, we say measuring do is measuring views. And, in the pyramid of accountability, this value is more first at the eye level, then eventually at the body level, then only at impression level. The second thing is, like, if you can't actually measure things, you can't improve it. We just released a case study with one of our fantastic partners in the US, Innovative Photo, which are doing actually the photo booth in all amusement parks and malls in America. They equip all the Westfield, Simon malls, and GGP and many others. And actually by measuring 2 weeks with them and correlating our audience with their data sales, this led actually to their change of strategy of their content. And in 1 week, they were actually able to increase 24% of vending directly at the vending machine. So if you can measure, you can actually improve things. This leads us to actually interactivity. When the content is aware of the context and can react to it in real time, the message actually becomes an experience. For example, we did a campaign with Kirk and Kirk, with Clear Channel, with Bastard London, and Voodoo. And the ad actually became a recommendation engine which reacted to gender, if you were wearing glasses, and to the color of your clothes. Another way, actually, of interactivity also involved approaching. This is actually in Grandi Stazioni. Basically, the ad actually reacts to an audience approaching. And the branding message then evolves into a call to action. Message can also be more stickier, where basically an ad stays longer, and the more the watchers are staying, the more the ads continue. So you can deliver more sequential type of interaction. My personal favorite is actually the smiling and nodding to be able to interact, saying yes to an option, or actually opting in to a message. All of this actually make digital out-of-home more experiential, and we call it experiential, everyday experiential. However, as always, technology and data need to be used with caution. No data source is completely perfect, and you want to avoid a situation where you think you're talking to a lovely young lady who's smiling and treating him as an old grumpy man. On top of that, you want to be sure that you're not crossing a very subtle line between efficient and creepy. Actually, personal data and the way data should be used are starting to be very important in a post-GDPR way and in a post-Cambridge Analytica world. The beauty of smart messaging is that you do not need personal data to be efficient, and that's really a great advantage compared to a one-to-one messaging medium. The next step in our evolution of smart content is the introduction of AI in the loops. We've all been taken aback by the internet advertising following you around and actually keeping the messages even though you've bought an object and actually the system would never know about it. This is a very inefficient way. And we think that AI actually is the way to be able to retarget and continue to communicate right with the right input, but without ever knowing much about who is present around, without actually knowing at all who is present around. So, for example, how does it work? During the AI process, the creative team feeds actually a lot of content to the ad and invent many elements that may have an impact. During the playback, the ad then just self-plays and self-assembles itself until it gets to the best sequence. The AI actually monitors the attention around, and what it does is it actually keeps the results that are performing well and discards the elements that are not performing. So this way, we're doing very intuitive content. We're speaking to the collective and intelligently, and we are not knowing what about people. We may react to some event, but the system may not even know what kind of event it is. This is actually the theory of evolution, basically. If you look at how the giraffe actually evolved, getting a longer neck, generation to generation, an ad actually evolved into a better self impression after impression, location after location. We think that AI is usually the best way to get the best bang for your buck, with a share of voice, while accounting for differences around location, around audiences, and around content. The first deployment of this technology was actually done with Dentsu at Westville in the US on the East Coast and West Coast. It was actually a campaign for the global goals where we actually put a lot of very specific individuals, exceptional individuals who defended global goals to save the planet. So it was key to actually improve the awareness of this campaign. With our Campaign Genius AI agent, we were able to improve up to 32% attention time on this campaign, and this without any manual intervention. Attention is actually the proxy to optimize the ads and on every screen, and they're on whichever type of screen. But what if you could optimize for the visits, in the store? What if you could actually bring people from outside to inside, and when they are inside, optimize the message to get to the best product and best sales besides the product? Overall, we see that smart messaging is a bit everywhere, and you've all seen a version of it somewhere, somehow. To that end, but however, we think actually that our customers are seeing still the same privacy issue, metrics issue, creativity issue. So to solve this problem, actually, we are launching today an initiative with a lot of our partners who own actually digital out-of-home networks equipped with Quivity cameras on each of every other networks. The goal of this association is to actually unify inventories, to be able to harmonize practices and amplify the visibility of digital out-of-home on those media. So to that end, we'll be definitely working with more of the stakeholders, typically the people like DPA or the local out-of-home councils, to create to foster those practices. So we're glad to announce people like the like of Organizzazioni. First, we're very, very proud to have you as partner. Like Adrian said, we've been working 5 years together. We're very glad that this data are actually paying off for you guys. But we're also working, actually announcing a cooperation with Westfield, with Elan Media in Qatar, with Picasso's right here in the Levant, with Elemedia in Colombia, Elemedia in Brazil, and Medio in Colombia, Atau in Ireland, Go to Digital in Croatia, you name it. So it's a global alliance to actually be able to use all the practices and use a common grammar together. So the future is now, actually, and we're very, very glad to work together and take those smart messaging to a new level. Before we go, I'd like to share with you a bit of a glimpse of what our customers have been using our technology for, and pretty much all around the world, in the US, in Italy, in Scandinavia. And it's very, very inspiring for us, and I hope you enjoy it too.